All right. Is the mic on? Okay. I think we're live. I think we are live. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, here we go. Hope you're doing well. If you're watching live, comment live in the chat, in the chat. Y'all already know the drill. Let me know who is here. Let me know who's here. Let me know who is here. I'm looking in the chat. I'm looking in the chat. I'm checking the chat. I'm looking in the chat. No, I'm not rapping. Hey, Jasmine. Hello, Keisha. All right, y'all. So excited. It's going to be a good day. Hey, Danielle. All right. This is going to be, hope y'all brought your notebooks because it's on. Let me see who is here. Let me see. All right, y'all. I see Jasmine in the chat. I see Miss Keisha in the chat. Keisha, I'm so glad to see you. Danielle is here. Kyla is here. Hey, Kyla. Leah, is it Leo or Leah? I have my niece's name, Leah. Well, Malia, but we call her Leah. Who else is here? Give me a live. Give me some hearts. Bring the energy. Leah. Okay. Gotcha. I love that. Let me know who's in the building. There's no building. But you know what I mean. Look, you know what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. Hey, Chloe. Welcome. I love this. All right, y'all. I want to know too, if you are in business, if you're in business for yourself, right? If you're in business for yourself, put a heart, any color, put a heart in the chat as well. I would love to know who is in business. Let me know who is in business. This is going to be so good. Prepare to spend about a good hour in the class today. I understand if you have to go. I understand if you have calls and meetings and things like that. Definitely feel free to leave. This replay will be up for 24 hours, and then we're going to put it on the back. All right. So if you have to leave, it's fine. You can come back, but it's good to be here because if you have questions, we can hash it out right here on this live. Okay. I am not AI. I am not AI. So it's in real time. So I'm excited about today because I do believe that we need to talk about emotional frameworks as a coach. So I've been a coach for a very long time, actually, but as operating in this line of work full time for almost it's been about 5.5 years, and definitely a blessing to be able to still be in this line of work, still impacting women, still helping women with their businesses and to help them transform. So the type of coaching that I believe in is transformative, which means that you are shifting identities, right? So most times when I'm dealing with clients, it's really about setting the process right off the bat. What is necessary for you to do just that? And most of you probably came from the TikTok that I that I, and it's actually my second time talking about this subject, because last year I brought up this subject. It was someone's post from Facebook that talked about how when we don't decorate our houses, how many of y'all remember that? It's probably the first time a lot of y'all came to me when I talked about how women needed to grow up. And this was probably around April of last year, when I first made that post. And when I say made that post, I shared that post about how when women don't decorate their homes, uh, and when I say decorate their homes, that means you want to decorate and you just don't, right? And you have the money to do so, or you have the funds to do so, you just don't. And that post really got a lot of attention. Of course, people don't listen, don't think about context clues or implied context. When we were talking about that, it's not like I don't have, like, oh, it's a money thing. No, it's not a money thing. Sometimes you just don't feel safe, right? And when I say safe, not necessarily in physical harm, but you don't feel safe in that place, or you don't feel secure in that place because there is a possible history of trauma, right? There's a possible history of chronic displacement. And this can leak into your business, it can leak into your life, because sometimes, unfortunately, right? Sometimes, unfortunately, we can equate that and we can link that into losses where we're never gaining in life. We're always losing, or we're staying in some level of functional freeze. Okay. So I made that post on TikTok. I kind of recirculated that post and it got a lot of attraction again. It went viral again. And, but I was telling people this because we're in a time where a lot of women are struggling with showing up for themselves and becoming their own safe space. That is really where it's at, because if you don't feel safe in yourself, a lot of you won't feel safe in anything. You won't feel safe doing anything because you're always outsource your sense of safety to someone else. And let's just go to where we are. We're in a place, right? We're in a country where we always have to blame someone. And it's set up that way, right? We have to blame someone, or we have to say, well, this person is not doing that. This person is not doing this for me. And this, my mom made me feel this way. And my father did this to me, or my brothers. Everything is always they. When you become an adult, this is what people are not told. And feel free. I will allow this. You are more than welcome to take the link and share this with a friend or someone that you feel like will need this as well. You can, share it in the DMs on Facebook or TikTok or wherever. I am totally okay with that because it is a class that I feel like a lot of women really, really need. We have to grow up mentally and emotionally, but it starts with acknowledging that, okay, I am responsible for my own safety. Okay, you're responsible for your own safety, and they don't tell you that as an adult, because you're just told to get out the house, or when you're gonna get married, when you're gonna get kids, when you need to get a job. It's always about what you need to do, but it's never about who you are. You're never ever created the space to become who you want to be, right? Because this place is centered around what you do. You everybody with me. Everybody with me. Okay? You're never you're never prompted, encouraged, or supported to become who you want to be. It's always about doing what you're supposed to be per someone else's belief system. I believe in interaction. So definitely feel free to chime in the comments in the chat. I don't get easily distracted unless I read and somebody say a good point. But I do recognize that y'all are also taking notes and trying to listen at the same time. So this particular masterclass came up again because I wanted to blend in why at this point in the game, why women need to really start paying attention to how they make decisions. And a lot of women have stopped making these decisions and going backwards within themselves because they don't feel safe to make decisions that move them forward into destiny. Destiny is very important. It's a fulfilling of what you desire, right? It's a feeling. So a lot of us are sitting in freeze, or we're sitting in dormancy again. We have decided to step back into complacency. Amen, somebody. Because when we did go full steam ahead, it didn't feel good to us. And that's only because the reason why you retracted and went back is because when you were going full steam ahead, you weren't taught capacity. You weren't taught how to expand your capacity to receive more. Because to receive more means that a lot of things you have to be okay with things dropping off. And that even means people. And you don't want to lose nobody. Because you don't want anybody to get upset with you. You don't want to get anybody to be mad at you. And then what if you get all these things and you're not able to keep them? And because people fell off, who you going to go back to? Am I telling the truth? Is this how some of y'all be feeling? Like if I go full steam ahead with what's going on right now, I don't know if anybody going to be there for me. I'm a very tell it like it is kind of person. Okay. I may trigger a little bit, and that's okay. All you do need to say ouch. Because it's coming from love. It's coming from, I want you to see things for what it is and not see things because you're offended. Because sometimes our offense are things that we know we need to leave alone, and we defend it. We defend the things that we don't even want. Ain't that something? You know, we defend stuff that we don't even want. We don't even resonate with the stuff that we fighting hard to keep it. A life that's giving us high blood pressure and we don't like the kind of money we're making, and we don't like it because we know we're supposed to be making more than what we're making, or we're supposed to be producing more than what we're making, and we're supposed to become more than what we are right now, but we defend it. Ain't that something? You see how backwards it is? So anyway, I'm Coach J. I'm Coach J. And some of y'all probably found me on TikTok. If you did find me on TikTok, give me some hearts in the chat if you found me on TikTok. Some of y'all probably find me right here on YouTube. Some of y'all are probably old clients of mine, found me on Facebook, etc. But we are here to learn definitely how to process our emotions so that we can make better decisions about our businesses. That's number one. And then from our life, right? For our life. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is let's start at the basic, right? Because I started the basic and then build up, because I don't want to assume everybody is at this place. And I know that that's a part of messaging and marketing, but I do believe that there can be a beautiful balance of starting where some people are, and then also helping people that are more advanced, if you will. Okay, so a framework is basically a simple guide or a structure that helps you to make decisions, to help you solve problems, and then ultimately take action. Okay, I'm gonna read that one more time so you can get it. A framework is a simple guide. Okay, it is a structure that helps you make decisions. Okay, make decisions, solve your own problems, or solve problems, period, or take some sort of action, without getting overwhelmed. Many times, the reason why we don't keep going and move forward in things that feels good to us, or things that we should be moving into, even if we're nervous about it, is simply because we get overwhelmed by what's on the other side of it. That's why a lot of us don't make the kind of money we supposed to be making, because the more equals more responsibility. This is also why a lot of women don't like leaving relationships that are very unhealthy and toxic, because they have to be by themselves, and that's responsibility. Women avoid responsibilities. You know we do. We like to be daughters. And even when it comes down to adult responsibilities, I don't want to have to do it. I'm so tired. I just want to stop. Responsibilities. You have to, you got to stop. You can't want all these things, because some of y'all got some big goals and big visions for your life. And I'm even going to go as far as to say this, is that even when it comes down to the times that we're in with AI, I've talked to several people over the past couple of weeks, and yeah, they're learning AI, but I said, now it's time to do something with it. Now you need to start creating the pathways in order to learn AI, and make money from it. Here we go. I mean, you can't sit there and play in that all day. It's not preschool. I want us to remember where we live. I'm funny too, by the way. You have to remember you're in the modern West. Okay. I forgot to ask this question too. Where are y'all from? Put it in the chat. Where are you from? I forgot to ask that. What country are you from? What city and state are you from? Put it in the chat. I would love to know. But most of us are in the modern West, and that's everything including North America, the UK, okay, all that, Europe, all that. And right now, especially in the States, you're having a great reckoning. Okay, you're going through a process. Okay, I see Indiana, I see New York, I see Dayton, Ohio, I see Maryland. Yay! Okay, I see a lot of East Coast people. East Coast. Anybody else? Anybody from another country? I would love to know. Um, so when we're talking about making decisions, yes, Texas, when it comes down to uh a process by way of the process that you use to make decisions, you cannot get to a place where you quit on yourself because you're overwhelmed. And that's simply because you just need to stick to the process. So instead of reacting, because this is the reaction, a lot of women get nervous when it's time to execute that process. Okay. Even when it comes down to sales, even when it comes down to asking for the sale, even when it comes down to marketing, right? We like to stay very safe, but the goals, we want a big life, but with very small action. And this is where I told y'all, if you've been rocking with me for years, you know kind of where I'm going with this, is that many of us have been taught to stay small because a lot of the people around you also think small. Who wants anybody around you who, because you've been thinking small all of your life. You don't want anybody that in your life to do big things, because guess what? When they do big things, they're going to probably leave you behind. You may encourage people to think bigger, But when they start doing those big things, it's going to make you feel some type of way. So this is why I said sometimes you need to really check yourself and say, do I have the capacity to do what it requires for me to go there? Because you have to almost become a different person. And a lot of people don't want to leave who they used to be or who they are. Some of y'all have been rocking with me since I was staying with my parents. And some of y'all didn't know I was staying with my parents until I told you after the fact. I don't tell you when I'm in spiritual warfare until I won the battle. Because that's not my job. My job is to go through the warfare so I can tell you I won the war and then tell you how I won it. There's victory in that because you have to go through the thing before you can overcome it. That's why I said sometimes, you know, when women say things like, oh, women are so powerful, show me. Show me. How are y'all powerful? How are we powerful? Have you done anything powerful since 2020? Oh, that's a great year to use it as a benchmark. What have you done since 2020? Did you go backwards or did you go forward? Or did you push the gas pedal and then you came off the accelerator? Because why? I'm telling you, there's a visible change. See, people that, like I said, I can sit here and tell you I know what it's like to quantum because I went through it. I can testify to that. I can tell you how I quantum leap. I had to change who I was and changed how I saw problems. I don't babysit problems. I get rid of them. And two thing is, she said they like the thought of changing, but are scared of who they actually become when they change and who they lose after they change. That's what I'm saying. So instead of reacting emotionally, right? Instead of reacting randomly, a framework gives you a repeatable way to do the following: to think clearly, to stay in alignment, listen to me, and make choices that feel right, but also work long term. So it's not just about thinking clearly, it's also about staying in alignment. And that particular process can work over a long period of time. I can always go back to that anytime I come up with a problem. Now, hold on. Let me take a step back. Whatever that framework is, let me take a step back and do this. Number one, number two, number three, number four. I'm going to give you an example. You got two big business opportunities on the table. Okay. Now, one pays fast. They don't mind paying the invoice, but there's a feeling of misalignment. Like you got a issue with that person. Like it's just something you can't quite put your finger on. And it's like, I don't mind them paying fast, but it's just, I don't know. And then you got one that pays slow, but it feels much more purposeful and you're excited. Have you ever been through that before? So without some type of process in place, right? Inwardly, you might choose based on fear or based on purpose and destiny, right? Because you got to start thinking about your decisions. Are they destiny based decisions? Or are they taking you backwards or keep you in the same place? Without a framework, you may choose based on fear. Okay. So, but with the framework, with the process, you slow down and you ask yourself, here we go, which one of these opportunities move me closer to my 1 year goal, my 1 year vision for myself? Which one of these? And which one of these business opportunities honors my capacity right now and the values? See, that's another thing. Y'all ain't got no values. A lot of y'all, you think you do and you really don't. Now you're making a wise and destiny filled decision and not a reactive one because of your current situation. Because some of us make decisions per what we need and not per what we want. That's a word. That's a word. Welcome all the way from Norway. That's a word. I'm trying to give y'all time to catch up because and process what I'm saying too. Because a lot of times people go so fast and you need to spend some time sometimes processing information. Okay. Now, everything needs to go towards destiny. Okay. And I'm saying this because a lot of us don't think about things like that. We're thinking about what we don't have. Well, you already have it. It's just in a dimension that you can't see yet. It hasn't been experienced or made revealed to the senses. It's already existing. I'm not making this up. Everything you want is on the other side of yes. So what is the destiny is it's a path of your life that you're choosing that reflects the truth of what you want to experience and you know what you can achieve from a potential standpoint. It's something that you know that's true for you, that you know you can have, that you're deserving of, right? Because at some point, some of y'all in y'all late 30s, 40s, and dare I say it, even your 50s, time is ticking. What they used to say back then, time is a ticking. Uh-oh. Sorry about that, y'all. Time is a ticking. You ain't got that kind of time. So the more conditioned you are to be risk adverse, you're not gonna go full speed ahead. You're just not. It ain't in you to do it. So you have to create that. You have to create that urgency to get to where you want to be. And I'm not saying urgency like hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, but there needs to be a pace. That's almost equivalent to people thinking something wrong with you. People are like, I got things to do. I got stuff to do. I got a future that's unfold. I have to go on. You understand? Y'all get my drill? It's really about you. You're here. Why? Why are you here? You're here to help you make better decisions about your life and about your business. You have to do that. You have to learn how to stop overthinking about things. Everybody quiet in here. You need to understand that there is a destiny that you are walking in. Either you are creating it or it's already done for you. Because if you don't decide for yourself, nobody's going to do that for you. So the first thing you need to do The first thing you need to do is that some of y'all need to go back to your design. Go back to the table of design and vision. That's where you need to be. You need to go back to that. What does your life look like? What do you want? This is your life on this planet. Because I'm gonna tell you this. If you don't come over with a plan for your life, they already did. You already know what I'm talking about with they. They already did that for you. If you don't speak over your life, then they have spoken one for you. This all it's already set before you, and nobody cares that what you went through in your childhood. Nobody cares about that, right? Nobody cares. I know you want people to care, but nope, they don't care. Nobody cares. Courtney, don't start. they will, they will. It's an inside joke, y'all. They will create one for you because you don't have the bandwidth to create one yourself. Well, I just whatever God has for me is for me. Have you even know? Do you know what that is? What do you mean? What God has for you is for you. Okay. With that being said, do you know what that is? Have you sat with that and say, what is the plan? And write it down. Okay. So is it write the vision, make it like when you write the vision, it's a spiritual thing. Vision, when you write a vision, which probably some of y'all ain't never did, and if you've done it before, you didn't let it sit somewhere and gather cobwebs. The vision is a spiritual thing. You need to, and this is why you need to spend time in spirit. I don't know how to meditate. I don't know how to meditate. And meditation gets a bad rep because some of y'all are busybodies. You feel like you always got to be doing stuff. Everything that I got, and I'm not bragging. I'm very grateful, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Most of the things that I have gotten has been by way of meditation. I had to see myself there, and I didn't get up until I saw it. Amen, Courtney. She said, or you've completed it, and it's time to make a new one. Absolutely. And you know what? I've had people to ask me in the past, like clients and all of that. Like, coach, when I was younger, I used to be able to just do whatever. I could just get up and do whatever I wanted to do and and that's because you didn't have a whole lot of life experience. You didn't have as many or as much responsibilities because you're a risk taker. And now you're risk avoidant. Because the more risk you take and you didn't get and see, these are some of the things that nobody tells you is that you didn't get the proper process in order to, because emotions are a part of everything we do. Because usually when we pop off and get up and do something, it's because of the idea took root, right? So the vision is like, I want to do this. And then it's like when the opportunity came, it's like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it because the idea took root within you. So when the idea takes root, you're excited about it and you run with it and you write when it's time to execute or go and do the thing on a longevity level, you don't have the right training for that. So then you get frustrated when it doesn't work out. And then you have to go and revert back to where you were. Because a lot of us don't understand that when you take risk, you also have to get proper things in place to keep what you're risking things for. You can't tell me I'm preaching. I know I'm preaching. Because it's not enough to just design the thing. Guess what? Okay, so let's go here. When there is a new building that's being built downtown in your city, okay, when there's a building, there's the architectural firm, and most times they will, you know, they'll have a vision of where they want. They want a big sky right there, and so they'll do what they'll ask. This is good. I don't know where this came from. This came from God. They will say, "We got a vision of a nice high rise downtown. They need to be overlooking this, and it needs to be overlooking the river or overlooking the ocean. Da 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 da. And people can get to, and we have this in there, and we have that. We need to hire. What's the firm that we can? Now this is spirit. Who can we call or bring in to help us with X, Y, and Z with this building?" So they're gonna call a firm. Usually it's an architectural firm, and they're going to bring them in, sometimes urban engineers and all this kind of stuff. What's the capacity that we can do this? Da 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 da. Architectural firm comes in, and these people tell them exactly what they want. There may be two or three of them because they probably want a competitive price. I don't know, but I'm just going to assume that they got one that they want to work with. So they coming in. Listen to the wisdom in this. They're coming in and they're sitting with the whoever, the mayor or whoever, governor, whoever, and saying, "This is what we want downtown so and so." The architecture firm taking down what they want, factoring, doing some research. This is what. This is you doing your vision board and all this other stuff you say you want to do. Okay, you're making the vision manifest. Okay, you're making it detailed. You're making it almost to the point where you see it before you see it. So what they're doing is getting all these dimensions in their head, and then they're going to do a mock-up. They're getting their 3D software and they're making it happen in the computer. Everybody with me so far? Is this making sense? They're going back to the people, sitting down with them and saying, these are some of the concepts we came up with. Those people are going to say, "This is the one right here. That's exactly what we want. This is exactly what we need. This is gorgeous." Now, they got to talk about budgets. They got to talk about permits. This is where y'all stop it right there. When you start thinking about the money it take and the people you got to hire and all the contractors and all of the timeline. Because when I go back to the framework, it's a simple guide structure that helps you make decisions. This is what I want, God. God, this is the future I want, and I know it's meant for me because you said that I could have whatever. Because y'all get to hollering and snorting and sneezing and throwing up because you're saying this is what you want, but it's going to come at how you got to solve the problem. I can make the provisions, but you got to decide if this is what you want because you see it and it's in detail. So when they say, "Oh, we already got the contractors, we got the people, we got the budget, we just need to make it happen, and we want to get it done by this time." See, let me say this. I love to listen to people when they make decisions. And you have to start paying attention to the world around you and get around people that know how to make decisions because you have to listen to how they talk about it. And then when you listen to how people talk about it, you'll see how detailed they are. And they don't hold back. And I'm talking about people who get things done. I'm not talking about who just talking and yapping and don't follow through with anything. I'm talking about people who actually make decisions and follow through with what they say they're going to do without any kickback and no emotional setback. They make the decision and it's plain and simple, and they don't care how much it costs. They don't care what they need to do to get it done. They get it done because actions are taken and there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. This is how you have to be for yourself. Because it's not enough to just make a decision per se. You got to make a decision and solve the problem. And the problems are usually already solved. It's just that you have to make it plain. This is what I want to do. Conviction is going to clear things up faster for you. If your conviction is this is what I want and I said what I said, then everything else is going to have to support that. Because everything is algorithmic. I don't know why y'all don't understand that by now. It should be very clear that this is how everything works. It's algorithmic. I'm not talking about social media marketing. I'm talking about the world around you. In order to get things done here, it has to be done on a supernatural level before it can be done naturally. Is everybody? It's because see, we stay right there in design. So if you don't have a vision for your life where you writing down and making things very crystal clear, because the vision should not be no less than one page. You should make it pages. If you come to me and tell me this is how I see my life and it's a paragraph, I'm gonna rip it up in front of you. Because what is this? This is jibber jabber. Your vision should be at least 2 to 3, 4, 5 pages. It's ridiculous. I'm talking about the vision. I didn't say the design part. I'm talking about your vision for your life. We plan our grandmothers, our sisters, our children's birthday parties. We put more effort into what we're gonna eat for dinner today than we do about our life. You probably ain't even thought about 17 years from now. You probably even thought about it. I always tell people too, and if you've heard me say this before, you know, the crown. If you're in the UK, the crown has 22 people in line for the crown. Let me say it again so you can catch what I just said. There are 22 people in line for the crown. That's about at least 400 years. It's about 400 years worth of people generationally that's in line for the crown. They already got a plan on who's next. And everybody, look, 22 people that's alive right now on the planet living. Everybody, y'all quiet, and that bothers me a little bit. Y'all okay? Refresh the screen if you got to. Because I need y'all to say something. Because everybody quiet. You got to understand something. Catch the wisdom in this. You have to realize that people already got 400 years set in stone. And for you to not even think about 2027 is a bother in itself. That's cray. Because if you don't have a vision for your life, how can you command somebody else? And this is why you don't feel safe in anything you're trying to accomplish, because even down to decorating your home the way you want to decorate it, no matter how long it takes. What is the design for your life? What does that look like for you? And don't do your vision while you listening to me now, because there needs to be a sacred time. You need to make that sacred. You need to sit down when you feel good in your body, and you need to write this thing out. It needs to be as detailed as a paper you're doing for a dissertation or PhD. It needs to be that detailed. You know why it needs to be detailed? Because it's a family crest. What is your plan for your bloodline? Especially those of you with children. Do you have a plan for your great grandchildren? No. I'm calling y'all to the carpet. It's conviction time. You don't even know what you're doing tomorrow. Christina, that's all I'm saying. She's at work for a family business and they focus 3 to 5 generations down to keep momentum in the company, because when you have a plan, there's momentum. Y'all, I'm about to run. I'm really about to run. You literally have a plan for you to keep getting up in the morning and staying and standing on business. That's the reason why there's a reason why nothing is flowing, because there is no vision. What is getting you up in the morning? That's why you half working in your business. That's why you half doing everything, because there is no momentum. When there's because when you design, I'm gonna tell you, you're not devoted to what you're doing because the design is not there. Everything I'm doing right now is going back to the blueprint. If it's not lining up to the blueprint, what are we talking about? Are you kidding me? Some of y'all, and that's what I told people. And I'm just speaking to some of y'all. Some of y'all want to get married and all this stuff. Do you have a plan for that? Do you know what the man look like? Do you know what the person looks like? No, I'm not going to assume everybody, everybody. Do you have a plan? This is your life. Well, I don't want to keep, I just want to. Do you have a vision? The reason why you're afraid, because you have made trash decisions for most of your life. And now you're here, you don't trust yourself. Because when you're devoted, there's a level of commitment. There has to be a level of commitment. That's what I'm talking about, Christine. I love that. There has to be a level of devotion and commitment to what you are designing. And if it doesn't get you out of bed and make you do something immediately and put you in a different, because when you got to think about the portal by which you're playing, y'all, where my pen at? Because this is y'all, I just don't understand. I don't understand. I really don't. Where's my pen? Lord? Oh, here it is. I mean, when I write what I said I'm gonna do, you gotta take this seriously. When I write down what I say, what I'm gonna do, and I get a pen and I start being conscious of what I'm doing, and I'm writing it down, if there is something that's supposed to happen, I didn't say type, I said write it out. You're instantly manifesting. You're instantly applying directives. When people tell me, Coach, can you write that down for me? Or are you writing this? Like, I need to be able. That's why people like recordings. This is why people like for you to write things down for them. This is why people like, can you write that in order? I need to be able to, you know why? Because people need a step by step on what to do, because it brings action. This is why people like to see what you said, hear what you said, and they can read it back to themselves, and then they can go back to it if they forget a step. And then there's something they can always go back to if things get off. This is why instruction manuals, y'all, when I got this ring light, it came with a framework. Even if I knew how to put it together, Even if I knew how to put it together, it still came with an instructional manual. What are you telling? Where are you? Where are you sending the angels? Where are you sending? Like some of y'all believe in your ancestors and all that kind of stuff, and that's fine too. Whatever you believe in, what are you sending and dispatching the spirit realm to do on your behalf? You know you need support. What are you talking about? Where are you sending them to? What are you sending them to do? Do they have assignments? Go back to what Christina just said. Anybody that has worked with a company, they already have strategic plans. You don't even know what you're doing every day. You're just doing stuff. I just like to have things. Stop. No, you don't. You don't like to have things anything because there's no vision. You're just doing. Write the vision and make it plain. That's a framework. Because when I write the vision and I make it plain, there's a running that happens after that. Why am I bringing it up with emotion? But you said emotional frameworks. You missing everything I just said. In order for me to feel good about something and feel sure about something, I have to know an outcome. And if I don't see an outcome, I have to create the outcome. Y'all, that's my whole point. Your emotional framework is to help you to keep yourself steady because the outcome is something that you created. Do you know what you're doing and why you're doing this? What's the reason? You got a lot of people right now that's questioning why. Why am I still working? If they're replacing us with AI, what's the point of working? And then you got some of these people that's full steam ahead, acting like nothing going on. And people are feeling some type of way about that. I know I'm in the house. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. It comes, do you have an instructional manual for your life? This is what I'm doing every day. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm creating. This is what I'm manifesting. Even through all these crazy times, I don't care. This is what I'm doing. I have to write this stuff down. And see, some of y'all gonna go off this live and completely forget everything I said. There's gonna be a percentage of you though that's gonna do what I said because there's surety in your vision. Women, I know us. Women have struggles with self-establishment and making themselves feel safety. They don't they we have issues with it. If we don't feel safe, we're not gonna do it. We have to go by what we see sometimes. And that's especially if somebody else is involved. Like you gotta, but women know how to make themselves feel safe. It's when other people come in into what we have established and built. And if I gotta take time away from what I have established and built to take a gamble on this, I don't know. I don't know, make me feel a little off. But if you can give me a vision, because I've clearly created one for myself. This is even how you navigate relationships. Like even relationships. If I built a life for myself, as you know, I didn't do this with a sugar daddy. I didn't do this with an ex. I did this. This is all Jay, and I'm standing here bold and saying it. I went from my parents staying my with my parents, with me and my baby, when we came back from Texas. From there to this. And I thank God for this. Luxury space. This is a 3-story townhome in Tennessee. 3 bedrooms, 3 full baths. Pool right next door. Community right here, cafes and everything, yoga studio, all of that. Safe neighborhood. In the country. But I don't hear gunshots at night. I don't hear ambulances every night. Families, children playing, community, stores nearby, 24-hour gyms. It's because it was in the plan. I made a plan, and I didn't stop making the plan until I felt like it was going to make me move. And then from there, when you make the plan, you also implement the plan. It propels you into action, right? But then you have to also start moving in the way of being taught or conditioned and programmed to keep what's on the other side of that plan. Because you're starting from another place. And you got to be okay with moving forward in that plan and learning how to understand that as I move, people are going to fall off. Things may fall off. People going to feel some type of way that I'm moving like this. I need to be properly supported. Because the belief system that you're going to have on the other side of that plan, and this is why you don't move. Everybody here want to get an outcome that you're not being positioned for. That's why that's why a lot of us don't go. A lot of us don't move down that way. I'm gonna insert this and I'm gonna go to my last point. The Contrarian Collective is that support. We also talk now. This is for business owners. If you're a business owner, if you're an influencer, if you're a content creator, and you want to grow your followership, your impact, you want to grow your sales, but you need the emotional understanding and the spiritual support to do just that. You need to join the Contrarian. It is $175 a month for now, and it's open until Sunday to join with that rate. So if you left the Contrarian and you want to come back, you better come on back before Sunday. It is usually $197, and we meet on Thursday evenings at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We meet every week. You have a learning portal, trainings, replays, and you have a community in Telegram. And the women in there that we don't play in there. There's no hanky-panky. There's no foolishness. There's no drama because I don't do drama. I kick you out for drama. I'm telling you that straight up. If you messy, stay out. If you like gossip, stay out. This is not a place for you to emotional unravel. Everybody is asked the question, what we doing this week? And you give an account for that. That's open right now. And you can read all about it in the link that's pinned on this chat. Okay? So just FYI. Now, let's go back to the last point. Is this helping anybody? Are you getting help from this? What you say yes to, this is my last point, and then we're going to, what you say yes to is the level of value that you believe about yourself. I'm going to say that one more time because I don't know if y'all caught that. What you say yes to is at the level of the value that you believe about yourself. So don't get in people's, when women talk about how high value they are and all this other stuff, if your life is right now trash and you can't stand your life right now and your life is not going the way you want it to go and you don't have what you want to have and you're not putting yourself out there by any means necessary, then are you have value to yourself? Oof. Are you have value to yourself? You need to decide different. You need to, and I'm gonna go down these 5 ways real quick, and then we're gonna get ready to get out of here. 5 ways that you can, the process of the actual framework, right? So I gave you a foundation. You need to pause your panic. Instead of asking, what should I do? You need to ask, what do I actually feel right now? You need to acknowledge the feeling. When you're going into panic, you start breathing all crazy and your shoulders are tense up. You need to start asking yourself, what am I feeling? What's that? What is that feeling? I don't like it. Pause that. What is that emotion? Identify that emotion. Number 2, identify that emotion. Is this guilt? Is it shame? Is it fear? Is it desire? What is that? Put a name to the thing. Number 3, ask yourself, who am I making a decision for? When I'm asking this low, or when I'm choosing this low, when I'm deciding this low, and it don't feel good to me, who am I making the decision for? If the answer is anything else or anybody else other than yourself, you need to ask yourself again. Make another decision. Mm-mm. Well, I feel bad because I want to help someone and I want to just stop. Ask yourself again. Is this for me or is it for everybody else? But I have kids. I didn't ask you that. Is it for you or for your children? Because your children gonna grow up and become somebody and they're gonna leave you by yourself. Because you deciding different is actually going to enhance your children's life. I don't know if some of y'all understand that. Number 4, check the timeline filter. Check the timeline filter. Ask yourself, will this move, will this decision get me closer? Will this get me closer to my 1-year future? Or is it going to help me get over this 5-minute fear thing I got going on? Like, I just want to stop being scared. I just need to hurry up and because we're trying to hurry up and get to homeostasis. We're trying to hurry up and feel okay again. Do you want to feel okay or do you want to feel fulfilled? Because that's a different feeling. Stop making destiny decisions with the temporary mindset. Because you can't keep saying that you're building the kingdom and you're still staying in a shack. Like, it don't make no sense. Or you're still in a shack mindset. Number 5, decide. Now, this is a big one. Decide from a place of power and not of panic. And some of us live in a constant state of panic where you cannot be proactive. Because becoming proactive, because every decision you make going forward Now that you have this information, I'm telling you, you're going to have to slow down a little bit and think about what you're doing. Because every decision you make is going to come from a place of temporary and panic. I'm going to give you, if your vision is to have health and to be in good health and prosper, even as your soul prosper, but you eat McDonald's every day. If you're sitting in Canva and ChatGPT all day, because now ChatGPT didn't replace Canva, because some of y'all saying sitting ChatGPT all day and asking to create all these emails and PDFs and stuff that you ain't gonna never sell just for the sake of run. And see, that's what I'm saying. Some of y'all complain about the water and environment, and you sitting there, you done made 80 workbooks in the day. It's the environment. I just feel so bad doing it. Get out of it, because you done made 7,000 courses with ChatGPT this week, and you're not gonna sell them. You one of the main reasons why the water is looking the way it's looking. Most of the what people are complaining about is what they're doing in ChatGPT all day, and ain't gonna do nothing with it. I need to come in with some worksheets. Stop. Get out of panic mode. You got to get out of panic mode. Okay. If you trusted yourself 100%, if you trusted yourself 100%, what would you do next? That's a good one. That's a good one. That is a good one. If you 100, and you got to ask yourself, if I 100%, see what if, because see, it puts you in a state of what if I trusted myself 100% right now? What decision would I make? What decision would I make right now and just do it? Some of y'all gonna say things and you're gonna laugh about it. But that laugh or that girl, see, you're saying it in jest. But what you're actually admitting is that you really don't trust yourself. And some of y'all just need to make that clear. I do not trust myself. And you need to figure out why you don't. And then you need to make a decision. Am I willing to go through life with this type of issue? Because that's an issue. That is a real issue. And you will leave this planet unfulfilled. And a whole lot of woulda, shouldas, and couldas. Girl, if I did, girl, if I see and it come out like that, we're getting ready to close. It comes out like that, girl. If I really had my way, if I really had everything the way I wanted, I would just, that's your indication you don't trust yourself. And sometimes we use money, but money is just energy. Please do not get this twisted. There's enough money. People have money. It's just a lot of people have issues with how they're looking at money right now. But people do have money. Mark Zuckerberg gave a 24-year-old baby, because I'm gonna call it a baby, call him a baby, $250 million to bring on the team for super intelligence. People have money. It's just evidence. Well, Coach, you don't give me $250 million. Well, if you had a skill set, they probably could. And Donica, she said, quit these low paying offers and go bigger. Sometimes there ain't nothing wrong with low paying offers. You just need to have a strategy. I just made a post about that on Facebook earlier, that, it's not about charging low or high. You just need to charge in accordance to your vision and your plan and your strategy, and then have a journey after that, because it could be an entry point or it can be your only offer. It's just that if it's your only offer and you don't have anything after that, guess what happens? You're going to be hustling. You're going to be working every single day on straight up hustle mode. But if you have a customer journey, you don't have to work all the time to do that. You can have a strategy after that leads people to a thing, to a thing, to a thing. So that's the contrarian. That's the contrarian. So if this is what you need right now, you need support, you need community, like real community. It's not a coaching program, it is a membership. So there's no commitment. You can join, you can leave anytime, you just don't get any refunds, but it's not a commitment. And you have access to a coach and access to a community and resources. Like we have different DM trainings, we have DM scripts in there, we have mental frameworks in there, we have a whole module dedicated to that. We have the replays from previous sessions that you can go in to catch up on. Right now we're going through a challenge, a power challenge, a DM challenge right now for the next 30 days, so they can get their sales games up. This is what I'm saying. There has to be a decision, and then there has to be action. So you can't play around with this at this point. So you need to make it up in your mind. And if you join today, you'll be right in time. Well, today and tomorrow, you'll be right in time for tomorrow night. We meet at 6:30. Okay. That's all I have for today. That's all I have for today. You have to make a decision for yourself and go full throttle, because if you don't, the world has their own plan for you and you may not like it. Okay? Do not be afraid to put yourself first. And I really mean that. All right? I thank y'all so much for your time today. I'm glad that y'all came. I hope that this video, this training, this masterclass spoke to your spirit today. Definitely feel free to send me any questions via email, Facebook DM. You're more than welcome to do that. And we're going on. All right. Love y'all so much. Have a blessed rest of y'all's day. Bye.